Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Saturday evening. Happy Saturday, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. So, I'm working on a few projects here in my craft room. But I wanted to drop this while this was my spirit. So, if you guys can relate to it, tap in. So, really quickly, I wanted to ask you guys, are you willing to let God use you? And I know the quick answer to that is yes. Yes. Use me, God. Use me, God. To what extent? So you accept the call to be used, but when he starts throwing you out there, right, in situations that are extremely fearful, out of your comfort zone, are you going to just kind of back up? Or are you going to push forward and just do what he asks you to do? Because a lot of the times it wouldn't make any sense, but it doesn't matter because it's not about you, right? It doesn't make any sense. Most times people will not agree with it, but are you willing to be obedient to what he asks you to do, even when people around you may not understand it? I can't tell you how many, well, not a lot, because I don't really put a lot of people in my business, but I've had a couple of people who just couldn't see putting a homeless person in a room, and you don't even know this person in X, Y, and Z. Okay, well, I mean, I get it. I get it. But I also get the fact that seasons rotate. You can be up today and down tomorrow. Literally, down tomorrow. So if you lose everything overnight, wouldn't you want someone to not judge you and make sure that you don't freeze to death? Right? So you have to be okay with people not really understanding what God asks you to do. Now, the key word is, again, what God asks you to do. If you're moving from your emotions in your heart, things like that, that's a whole nother question. But if it's something that God has asked you and required you to do, you have to do it, regardless if it makes sense, regardless if you're fearful. So if God tells you to relocate to Alaska because he needs you to go, are you willing to do that, right? Because again, it's going to start off with comfort zone things. God is strategic. And then out the blue one day, you're going to get a download that's going to literally snatch your edges. And you're going to be like, nope, can't do that. This ain't it, can't do that. So you're going to tell God, no, can't do that, right? So before you keep saying, God, use me, God, use me, God, use me, please have an understanding that when he uses you, the most times it's going to be out of your comfort zone and you cannot say no. So you might want to think twice before you keep saying, God, use me, God, use me, God, use me. People say that all the time. I get emails about that all the time. Just use me. And I'm like, honey, I don't think you know what you're asking for, right? But it's all worth it. It's all worth it. I knew from a very, very, very young age that I would be called to the celebrity world. Now, I didn't know to what extent, of course. I really didn't. But I just remember God always telling me that I could never change, meaning I don't care who you see, who you meet, you have to always speak my name. I don't care if everybody in the room is atheist, right? Thank God I never had to experience that yet, but you have to always speak my name. And because I'm not churchy, holy, again, he uses me strategically. So I fit in just fine. I fit in wherever he sends me, right? But then I'm very observing. So I observe the room and then I wait to hear from him. So that means I can't be a part of the room, meaning I can have a great time. And my God, do I have a great time, but I still have to be on point. So when I hear from him, all right, move now to this person, that person, go downstairs because there's a certain person I need you to X, Y, and Z. Literally, I promise you, literally. And half of the time, I don't even know what I'm going to say or supposed to say until I open my mouth. And each and every time, it is exactly what that person needed. Every time. So my point is, when he uses you, there are going to be stipulations. Now, you just He's going to always take care of you. He's going to make sure you're good, but there's going to be stipulations. You can't really be a part of everything. You can, but you can't, if that makes sense. Like, for example, last week, there's two people in particular who I can think of. One is a very, 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 very successful psychiatrist, right? And he's Asian, actually. And we were having a conversation. And everything he talked about was his children's grade, how smart they were, the college they were going to get accepted, and so on, which is amazing, which is absolutely amazing. For real, amazing. But throughout 30 minutes of that conversation, everything was based around schooling, grades, education, and that's it. And so I remember asking him, of course I waited for a minute until I got my downloads, and I asked him, I said, well, that's amazing. I said, but what is your purpose? If we were to take your career, very, very difficult and well-deserved career from you, let's just say we can take that from you. Let's say we can take away that your kids are no longer bringing 100%, because he got younger children. What are you doing, Tippy? Grade average home, and they decide to just go across the world and play guitars, but they come to you and say, Dad, Mom, we no longer want to go to college again. If we take all of that away from you, what are you left with? What is your purpose? Why are you here? Or is your purpose being a father? And he's like, no, I love my children, but if I'm honest with you, like, I'd rather be at work than... I said, well, what is your purpose? And he looked at me and he just paused. And maybe about 20 minutes, maybe I'm exaggerating, but 20 minutes of waiting, he wasn't able to give me an answer. And I saw him start to kind of tear up some. So you see how, again, society can push this narrative that we are to get married, have children, make sure your children get good schooling and this and that. And again, all of that is great. All of that is beautiful. But again, nothing is guaranteed. So if your marriage fails, if your children decides to, leave you and go across the world because they no longer like you, what is your purpose? So when you can't answer that, then that means we have work to do. Also, I had a conversation with a NFL player, recently retired, actually. Same scenario. His life was literally about, playing the NFL. Then he got hurt. And so his performance wasn't as good. And then before you know it, it's like they're ready to trade him and all this other stuff, or whatever the case may be, that goes on with sports. And it almost, you feel like, well, I've been doing this for X amount of years. Now, the one time I got hurt, or because I'm getting older, or whatever the case may be, people are ready to just discard me, even though I gave blood, sweat, and tears for all these years. Okay, so now if these people are ready to discard you, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? Are you just going to sit here and wait on Jesus? Or is there purpose? Is there purpose beyond the court or the stadium or what do football players play on? What do they play on? The field? I don't know. Is there purpose beyond that? There is. But do you know what it is? Or are you going to walk around with this seed of rejection and abandonment? Because really that's what it is. Because you gave your life to these coaches, to the team, to this, to that. And then the 1 minute you're not, they can just discard you like it's nothing. This is very, very common in the sports world. Well, in a lot of worlds, but in the sports world. And people don't realize this. When you see a lot of these players and stuff, either retiring or even just being traded from teams to teams or whatever the case may be, that's rejected. I mean, and I know technically it is business, right? It is business. We can't deny that. But still, people are human. So to wake up one morning and to get a call that, hey, we're going to trade you to X, Y, and Z, plant a seed of rejection. It can. So I say that to say that these are things that I'm not always comfortable doing, because sometimes you do feel like people who may be, in that spotlight, or who may be like a celebrity, that can be very intimidating, because if it can almost feel like you don't want to say certain things because you kind of don't want to rub somebody the wrong way, because you kind of want to like fit in, right? But you can't. You're not there to fit in. You're there to fit in for they can feel comfortable with you. But whatever God says you have to speak, or however he wants to use you, however he calls you, then you have to do it, regardless if it feels good with flesh or not. But each and every time, you will always reap the benefits by seeing them get exactly what they need. That aha moment. You know what I mean? So, I ask you, my friends, my subscribers, my chosen ones, are you truly ready to be used? It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.